In this video, we're going to turn this abandoned mountain into a house and a farm beyond imagination. A girl with a group of young people full of determination and persistence decided to start a project that could change the way of life for an entire place. They went to an abandoned mountain and decided to turn it into a house and a self-sufficient eco-farm, with enough space for several families to live, grow their own food, and raise their livestock, and all of this in a sustainable way. Make sure you hit the like button so you don't miss the greatness happening here on the channel. Let's go! The first step they did was using an XCMG 21-ton medium-sized excavator to level part of the hill, and also a 28F loader that can carry up to 3 tons. It hauls away the sand and soil dug out from behind. They started working from ground level and began digging massive caves inside the hill, with the goal of turning them into living spaces and farms. But they had to be extremely careful because digging inside this hill is dangerous, and at any moment the cave could collapse if it's not supported properly. This area is called the Luis Plateau in north-central China, and this is no ordinary plateau. It's made up of fine deposits called lues, formed from dust carried from the Gobi Desert and other deserts surrounding the region. This plateau is considered one of the largest loess plateaus in the world. It has 3 types of natural formations caused by erosion and sedimentation. After finishing the excavation, they started covering the inner walls of the caves with concrete. And this wasn't just for decoration. It provided a strong insulating layer and firmly stabilized the cave in place. They also built brick structures above the cave entrances, and since the entrance became taller than before, they filled the gap with soil to strengthen it further. The caves on the second level that they were building would become people's living rooms, unlike the caves on the first level, which would later be used for animals, seed storage, and farming purposes. After laying the bricks, they moved on to much finer details. But let me tell you a quick fact, not all bricks are the same. Not at all. There's a big difference between regular bricks and what's called face bricks. Regular bricks are important for their mechanical properties, meaning durability and strength, not appearance. That's why they're used in places that won't be visible, like underground, or where they'll later be covered with plaster or gypsum. But the bricks made specifically for walkways and roads, those are called paving bricks, and the ones used in ovens, fireplaces, and stoves, they're called fire bricks or refractory bricks. These are specially made to withstand extremely high temperatures and also not to conduct heat easily. That allows them to preserve energy inside the place. Special additives are mixed into them so they can endure any harsh conditions they're exposed to. And after finishing the brickwork, it was time for the wooden framework at the cave entrance. They used this space to add decorative touches so the place would not only be functional, but also pleasant to look at. The window frames here play a very important role in fixing the glass. Of course, they installed full glass windows and secured them with silicone and pins. And not just that, they also built a storage room and garage with 2 rolling shutter doors that open upwards and roll around a cylinder, so they could use them either for storage or as a garage for any car. This part of the plateau has a humid climate and experiences wide temperature variations throughout the year, meaning the weather fluctuates a lot. That's why thermal insulation had to be an essential part of the design. Thermal insulation is the simplest and cheapest way to save energy and also reduce carbon emissions. There are many types, like fiberglass, wool, cellulose, and foam. The great thing about these types is that once installed, they don't require energy to work. Instead, they prevent energy loss in the first place, which means the temperature inside the house stays stable, whether in winter or in summer. They started digging the plumbing system and building the rooms where the water would be drained. Then they lined all the floors with 5 centimeter thick concrete to stabilize the ground so there would be no risk of it collapsing or sinking. This was extremely important, and also to prevent mud and dust from entering every time someone walked in, keeping the inside of the house clean for as long as possible. And so that the place wouldn't just be practical, but also comfortable, they built a slightly elevated space beside the window, which turned into a bed or a cozy corner sofa for relaxation. The secret? They laid a heating pipe underneath it, so it would warm that spot and make it very comfortable during winter. After finishing, they plastered the bricks with cement and smoothed them out. Using a rotary hammer drill, they began carving channels for pipes and electrical switches. This tool makes about 3,000 to 4,000 strikes per minute. They laid out the electrical wires, prepared the switches, sockets, holders, and lamps. They did all of this at this stage so that all the cables would stay hidden inside the walls, without anything exposed that could ruin the appearance. At the far end of the cave, this area was turned into a full bathroom. So they started installing ceramic tiles in the bathroom. They specifically chose porcelain tiles because they're water-resistant, reasonably priced, easy to clean, and available in many colours, textures, and patterns. So whether someone wants a modern look or a classic one, they'll find what they like. After finishing the bathroom, they tiled the floors and the bed area as well. They brought wooden boards to frame the edges of the bed, glued them together with white adhesive, and fixed them firmly in place. They also installed a few brown plywood panels for a more aesthetic look. Then they moved on to the wardrobe, marked its spot at the far end of the cave, opposite the bathroom, assembled it, built the shelves, and installed it, along with the bathroom door. The ceiling was covered with beautiful panels that are resistant to heat and humidity. The side walls were prepared with long aluminium channels running along both the right and left sides of the cave. These would hold fibre or flexible panels that would be fixed from wall to wall and across the ceiling, covering the entire exposed area. They did the same for the lower parts of the walls too. The white colour they used made the rooms look more spacious, improved the lighting, and gave a sleek modern finish that was also easy to clean. Of course, after all the construction and finishing, they cleaned the entire place and furnished the bed. They installed a wash basin with a storage unit in the bathroom, added a storage unit above the wardrobe, and fitted the wardrobe doors. They even made the bathroom entrance built in inside the wardrobe, so that when you open the wardrobe from the right side, the bathroom is right in front of you. And this is how the cave was transformed into a full living space once they were done. After completing the houses they had built, it was time to start working on the farm area, which would be in the lower part beneath the houses for safety, so they could freely use heavy machinery without risking the stability of what they had already built. They dug and repeated the same steps again to carve out caves, line them with concrete, and carefully plaster them. But this wasn't ordinary concrete. We'll talk about that shortly. And here we notice they added something new, digging trenches. We'll also understand later why they dug them. This region, southeast of the Gobi Desert, is surrounded by the Yellow River, which provides a reliable water source. That's why they used a water well drilling machine, specifically a rotary drilling rig powered by a diesel engine, sometimes mounted on tracks or a movable base. This machine relies on a drill rod that spins at high speed using a top drive motor. At the lower end of the rod is a drill bit, strong enough to break through rocks and penetrate the soil. During drilling, a fluid, mud or water, is pumped through the drill pipes to cool the bit and flush out the cuttings. As the well gets deeper, additional drill pipes are connected to extend the drilling to greater depths. Then PVC or steel casing pipes are lowered into the borehole to prevent it from collapsing. All of this to provide water for drinking and farming. And indeed, the water system worked, and they filled the trenches with water so they could dig without them collapsing. They began installing the plumbing system, brought 4-inch pipes, placed them in their positions, connected them, and welded them together. After that, they backfilled over them properly. They also used corrugated drainage pipes made of high-density polyethylene. Their advantage is that they can absorb high ground pressure because of their corrugated shape. They cut them in half, placed them inside the trenches, secured them, and lined them with concrete, since they would later be used for draining water, waste, and liquid animal manure. Then they surrounded them completely with bricks. During the building stage, they constructed and lined these caves with bricks, and since bricks are a core part of construction, they used face bricks, not only strong but also visually appealing. These were used for the facades that would remain exposed, just like they did for the residential units above. Meanwhile, the excavator was at work behind them, filling the gap between the elongated brick cave walls and the mountain itself with soil, making the structure more stable and preventing any risk of collapse or the mountain pressing down on the caves. At the same time, it was levelling the ground with its bucket to prepare the site for the next step, which was building the entrances and exits of the caves with bricks, as well as the outer wall that would surround the farm, complete with its gates, windows, and everything, until it was finished. As for the trenches, they covered them with concrete grates. And this wasn't just for cleanliness, there was another purpose. It made the work easier too. Instead of struggling, the farmer could simply push the waste directly toward the centre of the room. The waste could then be collected outside the caves and reused as fertiliser for the farmland, keeping the caves clean inside. To install these grates, they first spread a layer of soil and sprinkled water to compact it firmly. then poured a concrete layer about 5 to 7 centimeters thick. This was one of the hardest steps. The team had to work very quickly, because once the concrete started setting, there was no way to reshape or adjust it. This concrete was made of materials like aggregates and water, things found everywhere. Even the ancient Egyptians used this type of concrete when building the pyramids. Concrete can reach an incredible compressive strength, between 3,000 and 7,000 psi, and in special cases, up to 20,000 psi, meaning a structure stronger and more durable than almost anything else. They installed huge steel beams to support the ceiling above, then welded and secured them systematically until the structure was ready to carry corrugated metal roofing sheets. These sheets have many advantages. They're fire-resistant, stylish, shed snow easily, and don't rust quickly thanks to protective zinc, aluminium, or galvanization layers. They also withstand extreme weather like heavy rain or snow, prevent insects from reaching the wooden framework, and are easy to clean and maintain. And if you look closely, you'll notice that beneath each roofing sheet, they placed foam panels cut to exact size. This helps preserve the indoor temperature. They also distributed several plastic panels across the ceiling to let natural light in and spread it evenly. Once they finished all the caves, they moved on to the outdoor space. The loader cleared the courtyard of the residential area. This outdoor space would be used for a vegetable garden and a dedicated cooking area. They built the cooking area with bricks and mortar, and around it they made benches and tables so people could sit, eat, and enjoy the sun and fresh air. But before planting, the soil had to be prepared, so they broke it up and ploughed it thoroughly. This was very important to bring the nutrients from deep down up to the surface. They bordered the garden beds with bricks and wood, and then began planting. After some time, the plants grew green, life flourished, and they celebrated the achievement they had created. And that's the end of the adventure. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Write your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to check out the previous videos and stay tuned for the upcoming ones. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to join us, hit like, and share the video. See you! Bye!